How good are you at working with AI? Not just typing a prompt and hitting enter, actually collaborating with it. Anthropic just analyzed almost 10,000 real conversations with Claude, and what they found will change how you use AI forever. 85% of users do one thing that doubles their results, but there's a trap. When AI gives you polished output, like clean code or a well-written document, you stop thinking critically. You accept it without checking. They call it the artifact paradox, and it's making us worse at the very thing AI is supposed to help with. In this video, I'll break down every finding from the AI Fluency Index, show you the 11 behaviors that separate great AI users from average ones, and give you a practical framework to level up your AI collaboration skills. So what exactly is the AI Fluency Index? Think of it like a fitness tracker, but for how well you work with AI. Anthropic, the company behind Claude, published this research on February 23, 2026. They analyzed 9,830 real conversations on Claude.ai over a 7-day window in January 2026. But they didn't just read the conversations. They built 11 binary classifiers, automated tools that detect specific behaviors in each conversation. The goal was to create a baseline, a starting point for measuring how humans and AI collaborate and how that evolves over time. The academic framework behind this was built by Professor Rick Dakan from Ringling College and Professor Joseph Feller from University College Cork. They defined 24 total behaviors, but only 11 are directly observable in a conversation. The other 13 happen in your head or after the conversation ends. Let me show you what those 11 behaviors look like using a simple example. Imagine you're building StudyBot, an AI-powered study assistant for college students. Here are the 11 observable behaviors they tracked. Number 1, iteration and refinement. This means treating AI responses as drafts, not final answers. Instead of accepting the first response, you say, make this simpler or add error handling. This was found in 85.7% of conversations. Number 2, questioning reasoning, asking Claude why it chose a specific approach. Like saying, why did you use a database instead of a file system for StudyBot's flashcards? Number 3, identifying missing context, pointing out what the AI might not know. Like telling Claude, you're assuming all students have internet access, but some use this offline. Number 4, fact-checking, verifying the information AI gives you. Number 5, clarifying goals, stating what you actually want to achieve up front. Number 6, specifying format, telling AI exactly what format you want, like give me a JSON schema, not prose. Number 7, providing examples, showing AI concrete examples of what you want. Number 8, asking for explanations, requesting the AI explain its process. Number 9, setting delegation boundaries, deciding what AI handles versus what you keep. Number 10, critical evaluation, assessing the quality of AI output. Number 11, follow-up assessment, evaluating the response after receiving it. Now here's the key insight. These behaviors don't exist in isolation, they compound. All 11 behaviors map to a framework called the 4Ds. Think of these as 4 skills every AI user needs. The first D is delegation. This is about knowing what to hand off to AI and what to keep for yourself. For StudyBot, you might delegate generating practice questions to AI, but keep the curriculum design and grading logic for yourself. The second D is description. This is prompt engineering, context setting, and clear instructions. Instead of saying, build me a quiz app, you say, build a spaced repetition quiz system that tracks which topics each student struggles with, stores progress in a database, and generates questions adapted to their weaknesses. The third D is discernment. This is critical evaluation, fact-checking, and bias detection. When Claude generates a study algorithm, you don't just ship it, you test it with edge cases. What happens when a student gets everything right? What about a student who hasn't studied in 3 months? The fourth D is diligence. This is ethical use, responsible oversight, and maintaining human judgment. For StudyBot, this means making sure the AI isn't generating biased questions, isn't storing student data insecurely, and isn't replacing the learning process itself. The framework also defines three modes of interaction: automation, where AI handles repetitive tasks; agency, where AI makes decisions within your parameters; and augmentation, where AI enhances your own capabilities. Most people only use automation. The Fluency Index shows the best users leverage all three. Now let's talk about the single most important finding: iteration. The data is clear. Users who iterate, who refine and push back on AI responses show 2.67 additional fluency behaviors on average. Users who don't iterate show only 1.33. That's roughly double the engagement quality, but it gets even more dramatic. Users who iterate are 5.6 times more likely to question Claude's reasoning. 5.6 times. That means they're not just accepting answers, they're understanding them. They're also 4 times more likely to identify missing context. They catch the things AI gets wrong or leaves out. Meanwhile, 14.3% of users accepted the very first response without any revision. They asked one question, got one answer, and left. Think about that with StudyBot. If you ask Claude to build a quiz feature and accept the first response, you might get something that works. But if you iterate, you say, what about accessibility? What about offline mode? What if the student has dyslexia? Suddenly you're building something much better, not because AI got smarter, because you got better at collaborating with it. The report also found interesting patterns across the week. Weekday conversations peaked at 87.9% iteration rate. Saturday dropped to 81.4%. Work context drives more careful AI use than personal or casual browsing. Now, here's the most important and honestly concerning finding: the artifact paradox. When Claude generates polished artifacts, things like clean code, well formatted documents, or working tools, something weird happens. Users become more directive upfront but less critical afterward. The numbers tell the story. In artifact conversations, users are 14.7 percentage points more likely to clarify goals, 14.5 percentage points more likely to specify format, and 13.4 percentage points more likely to provide examples. So they're putting more effort into the prompt. That sounds great, right? But here's the flip side. They're 5.2 percentage points less likely to identify missing context, 3.7 percentage points less likely to fact check, and 3.1 percentage points less likely to question AI's reasoning. In other words, when the output looks professional, we trust it more. We lower our guard exactly when we should raise it. One Anthropic engineer put it perfectly: when producing output is so easy and fast, it gets harder and harder to actually take the time to learn something. Think about StudyBot. Claude generates a beautiful React component with TypeScript tests included. It looks perfect. The code is clean, the formatting is professional, but did you check the logic? Did you verify the spaced repetition algorithm is correct? Did you test the edge cases? This is the trap. Polished output creates false confidence. And in software development, unverified code means bugs, security holes, and technical debt. Here's another finding that surprised me: the 30% problem. Only 30% of users explicitly tell Claude how they want to interact. That means 70% of people never say things like, push back on my assumptions, be transparent about what you're uncertain about, ask me clarifying questions before answering, point out potential issues in my approach. This is like hiring a consultant and never telling them what you expect. With StudyBot, imagine the difference. Without setting terms, you ask Claude, build me a quiz feature. Claude gives you something reasonable but generic. With terms, you start with, I'm building StudyBot for college students. Before writing code, always ask about edge cases. Challenge any assumptions I make about how students study. If you're unsure about a pedagogical approach, say so. Now Claude becomes a collaborative partner, not just a code generator. The research also found results were consistent across 6 languages, with a maximum of only 3 percentage points variance. This means AI fluency behaviors are universal. It doesn't matter if you speak English, Spanish, French, or Japanese. The same patterns of good and bad AI collaboration show up everywhere. Let me give you the practical takeaways. How to actually improve your AI fluency today. Tip 1. Always iterate. Never accept the first response. Even if it looks perfect, push back. Ask what could go wrong. Ask for alternatives. The data shows this doubles your fluency behaviors. Tip 2. Set collaboration terms at the start of every conversation. Tell the AI how you want to work together. Examples for StudyBot. Before generating code, outline the approach and ask for my approval. If you see potential issues with my architecture, flag them immediately. Always consider accessibility and internationalization. Tip 3. Be extra critical of polished output. When AI gives you clean code or a beautiful document, that's when you need to slow down. Check the logic, test the edge cases, verify the facts. The artifact paradox means your brain automatically trusts polished output more. Fight that instinct. Tip 4. Use the 4D framework as a checklist. Before ending any AI conversation, ask yourself, delegation, did I give AI the right tasks and keep the right tasks for myself? Description, did I give enough context and be specific enough? Discernment, did I critically evaluate what AI gave me? Diligence, am I using this responsibly and ethically? Tip 5. Question the reasoning, not just the output. Don't just ask, is this code correct? Ask, why did you choose this approach? What are the trade-offs? What alternatives did you consider? This 5.6 times improvement in understanding is the biggest multiplier in the entire study. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The World Economic Forum estimates that 85% of jobs will require AI proficiency by 2030. Coursera and LinkedIn report 1 billion AI course enrollments by 2025. And the global AI market is projected to hit $15.7 trillion by 2030. AI fluency isn't just a nice-to-have skill, it's becoming a career requirement. Anthropic has already launched education initiatives. They partnered with Teach for All to train over 100,000 teachers in 63 countries. They partnered with CodePath to bring Claude to the largest collegiate CS program in the US. They released free courses through Anthropic Academy, AI Fluency Framework and Foundations, Teaching AI Fluency for Educators, and AI Fluency for Students. All under Creative Commons licensing, meaning anyone can use and adapt them. The 4D framework with its free courses and educational materials is available at aifluencyframework.org. But here's what I think matters most. This research proves that AI skill isn't about being technical. You don't need to know how transformers work or understand gradient descent. AI fluency is about communication, critical thinking, and knowing when to trust and when to verify. These are fundamentally human skills applied to a new context. So what should you do next? First, audit your own conversations. Look at your last 10 AI interactions. How many of the 11 behaviors did you use? Did you iterate? Did you question the reasoning? Did you set collaboration terms? Second, start small. Pick one behavior to focus on this week. I'd recommend iteration since it's the highest impact change. Stop accepting the first response. Always push for a second draft. Third, watch out for the artifact paradox. Whenever AI gives you something that looks polished, that's your signal to slow down and verify. Fourth, check out the free resources. The AI Fluency Framework at aifluencyframework.org has courses and materials built specifically to develop these skills. The AI Fluency Index is just the beginning. Anthropic says they'll track how these behaviors evolve over time as models change. The question isn't whether AI will change how we work. The question is whether you'll learn to work with it effectively. See you in the next one.